She sold over 200 million records. She performed for presidents, for royalty, for stadiums so vast the edges disappeared into darkness. And then, without warning, her own body declared war on her. There are artists who survive fame. And then there is Céline Dion, a woman who survived everything fame could not prepare her for. Poverty, public humiliation, unbearable loss, and a disease so rare it affects 1 in a million people. A disease that attacks the very muscles she needs to stand on a stage. Most people know the voice. Almost no one knows the price. Behind every song that made the world weep was a private story the spotlight never fully reached. A love the world tried to dismantle for decades. A husband she watched die slowly while holding his hand. And a body that began collapsing from the inside just when she had survived everything else. How does a girl born the 14th child in a struggling family become one of the most recognizable voices on earth? What does she sacrifice to protect a love the world refuses to understand? And when fate takes everything in 48 hours, how does someone like that decide to keep singing? To answer that, we have to go back to the beginning. March 30th, 1968. Charlemagne, Quebec. A town so modest it barely registered on maps. Inside a small house already overflowing with children, Therese and Adhemer Dion welcomed their 14th child into a world defined not by opportunity, but by survival. 14 children, 1 income, winters that felt longer than they should, meals stretched thin, privacy non-existent, beds shared, coats handed down, some weeks, cupboards nearly empty. Her mother often fed the children first and ate whatever remained, sometimes nothing. A quiet kind of heroism that Céline would only fully understand decades later, when she became a mother herself. But if poverty defined the walls of that house, music filled everything inside it. Her father played accordion. Her mother sang. The older siblings harmonized around the kitchen table. Music wasn't entertainment in the Dion home, it was oxygen. It was how they celebrated, how they grieved, how they survived winters that pressed hard against the windows. At 5 years old, Céline climbed onto the kitchen table and sang. Not shy, not uncertain. She sang with a stillness that silenced the room. Her siblings stopped moving. Her parents exchanged a look, the kind of look that doesn't need words. This one is different. By 12, that difference had direction. Her mother wrote a song, Su Any Tate Chuan Rev. It was only a dream, and mailed a homemade cassette to a respected Quebec manager named René Angelil. He almost threw it away, but something made him press play again. When he met the skinny 12-year-old girl in that modest living room and asked her to sing, she didn't tremble. She didn't perform like a child trying to impress. She sang like someone who already understood the weight of her gift. René cried. He later said it was the only time in his career a voice had moved him to tears before he had decided whether to sign the artist. He mortgaged his house to finance her first album. Not a label advance. Not borrowed industry money. His house. That decision bound their lives together in ways neither could have predicted. Her French albums quickly made her a star in Quebec. But Quebec was not the world. René saw further. He refined her presentation. Dental surgery, styling, English lessons, media training, not to erase her but to prepare her. And somewhere along that path, the professional bond shifted into something deeper. He was 26 years older, twice married, with children. When the relationship became public, the backlash was fierce. Tabloids questioned motives. Critics questioned power dynamics. Headlines framed their love as imbalance. She didn't retreat. I know what this is, she said calmly. I know who he is to me. They married in 1994 at Montreal's Notre Dame Basilica in a ceremony broadcast across Canada. Over 1,000 guests attended. The girl from Charlemagne, who once shared beds with siblings, walked beneath cathedral ceilings toward the man who had risked everything for her voice. The world still doubted, but she never did. Her global explosion came in waves and then all at once. In 1988, she represented Switzerland at the Eurovision Song Contest and won by a single point with Ne partez pas sans moi. It was a narrow victory that detonated into international recognition. English albums followed. Chart toppers multiplied. Then 1997 happened. Titanic. And with it, My Heart Will Go On. She recorded it in one take. When the film became the highest-grossing movie in history, the song became inescapable. Weddings, funerals, first dances, final goodbyes. Céline Dion stopped being just a singer. She became a feeling people attached to their most important memories. But at the height of that success, Renee was diagnosed with throat cancer. The cruelty was unbearable. The man who had built her voice's empire was fighting a disease attacking his own throat. She stopped everything. Tours canceled. Recordings paused. Fame frozen. She sat beside him through treatment, through fear, through the kind of night statistics cannot comfort. When he recovered, she reinvented the industry with a Las Vegas residency at Caesar's Palace, a $100 million production that changed how superstar careers could be structured. Then they tried to grow their family. Years of fertility treatments, losses, quiet grief. In 2010, twin boys arrived. Joy returned. But in 2013, Renee's cancer came back. This time, it did not retreat. On January 14, 2016, Renee died at their home in Las Vegas. 2 days later, her brother Daniel died of cancer. 48 hours. 2 funerals. She stood in black and spoke with composure that wasn't cold. It was survival. 2 months later, she returned to the stage. Not triumphant, not dramatic, just present. Because the voice he believed in still existed. And then, years later, another betrayal began, this time from her own body. In 2022, she revealed she had been diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, a rare neurological disorder affecting roughly 1 in a million people. It causes severe muscle stiffness and spasms so intense they can fracture bones. The disease targets the nervous system, the muscles she needs to breathe, to stand, to sing. Tours were canceled. Appearances vanished. She grew thinner, more fragile. For the first time, the outcome was uncertain. And then, in July 2024, something extraordinary happened. At the 2024 Summer Olympics opening ceremony in Paris, beneath the glow of the Eiffel Tower, Céline Dion stood and sang L'Hymne à l'amour. She moved carefully, deliberately, but when she opened her mouth, the voice carried everything. Poverty, scrutiny, hospital rooms, funerals, physical therapy sessions, grief, endurance. It wasn't perfection people heard. It was truth. The world didn't just applaud. It exhaled. Today, she still lives with stiff person syndrome. There is no cure. Only management. Only discipline. Only resilience. Her sons have grown into quiet protectors. Her mornings are negotiations. Every step deliberate. She says she wants to perform again, not to prove she defeated the disease, but because the voice was never the point. The connection is the point. The moment when a song tells someone they are not alone. Céline Dion was never performing invincibility. She was performing humanity.